We'll call to order the meeting of the Haverford Township Hearing Board of Thursday, February 16th, 2022. Present at the front table to my far left is Ed McGargy, a voting member. My immediate left, Ernie, the awesome solicitor, aka Angelos. To my right, Jessica Battaglia, voting member. Jess is Jesse Poynton, a voting member.
Good evening.
And way down in no man's land, Margie Buchanan, our zoning expert. I'll come up with a better title next time, Margie.
Bill.
And present by Zoom is Bill Rhodes, our vice chairman, who's in COVID quarantined. Right, Bill? All right. Jess, you want to lead us in the pledge? Please rise.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Bill's a real Zoomer. He's even got his name on the screen and everything. All right. I just want to announce publicly that the board met in executive session prior to commencing this hearing to discuss an appeal matter. And I apologize for starting a little late, but that's what we were doing back there. We have two new cases on the agenda tonight. We'll start with case Z2302, Michael and Megan Maligan, owners of 214 Walnut Place, Havertown, PA, DC folio number 2208-010710, who seek a variance from the provisions of section 182-207C7 to construct a 26-foot, 8-inch by 16-foot, two-story addition that will encroach into the required 25-foot rear yard setback by 14 feet 9 inches. Property is zoned R5 and located in the 8th Ward. Where's Michael and Megan? You guys want to come up? I need to swear both you guys in.
Absolutely.
Are you both going to present the case?
I'm gonna talk.
Okay, but I'm going to swear you both because I know how these things go, and you'll be at it. So, please raise your right hand. Ladies first. I need to do you separately. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
And your full name and address for the record, please?
Megan Elizabeth Maligan and 214 Walnut Place.
And now you, Michael. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
And your full name and address for the record?
Michael David Maligan, 214 Walnut Place as well.
Okay. So you submitted a package
Yes,
with your application that has pictures attached to it and some other things. In order for those to become part of this hearing, they need to be marked as exhibits.
Sure.
Typically, the marking scheme is A for applicant, A-1, A-2, 3, whatever. I don't know which of the items attached to your application you want, because it's your case, to have marked as exhibits. Presumably, since you submitted these pictures, you want all of these marked as exhibits?
I think the second picture, which is the garage.
Well, why don't you pull the ones out that you want to have
Okay.
marked?
Yeah, we can
I'll
do
walk
that.
you through the marking
Okay.
process.
Actually, we'll take the second, third. And this one. Okay,
Okay, so let's do it this way, just to keep it easy. If you hand them Bridget, you'll mark,
sure.
Do you want to mark it individually?
please. Sorry, Bridget. I'm gonna make sure you don't mess it back.
3 pictures.
While Bridget's marking that, do you have anything else? Obviously, we're off the,
For exhibits, no, sir.
okay. No plot plan?
I'm sorry, plot plan.
So you should give that to Bridget too.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so now if you just walk us through each photo, just hold them up and identify, like, first, let's do A1.
Okay.
So what is A1?
So A1 is a two-car garage that's attached to the back structure of my main house.
Okay.
A-2 is a different angle that shows where it actually attaches to the back of the house.
Okay,
And then the A3 is an aerial 3D view that shows my house on the far right and a few other houses. And I'll discuss this a little further when we get to it.
okay.
And the fourth is
Is that it for the photos?
And then the photos, and then the fourth is the plot plan. A4.
Okay. Now that we got the formalities out of the way, please tell us a little bit about what you would like to do and
Well, first off, I'd like to say thank you very much for having us here to hear why we're here for seeking relief. My wife and I, we are looking to build an addition to the back of our house. As the paperwork says, it's 16 feet deep, 26 feet, 8 inches wide. When we moved into the house back in 2011, we purchased the house where it had 2 garages in the back. I believe that these are considered non-conforming structures. The depth of those went 20 feet, and they would have been 18 feet 9 inches into the setback. This addition that we're proposing actually reduces that non-conforming structure back into 14 feet 9 inches into the 25-foot setback requirement. And there's a few things that are unique to our property that I can talk about if it makes sense at this point.
sure.
Okay. So first things first, looking at where we live in the district that we live at, it's an R5 district. The minimum requirement that I found is a 5,500 square foot minimum for the lot size. Our deed is 97.5 by 50 feet, which is 4,875 feet total. So it's about 625 square feet less than what an R5 requirement is, which 50 feet wide, that's 12.5 feet deep. Also, in Exhibit A3, our block is kind of unique, and our house in particular, and my neighbor that I share my driveway with is very unique in that the majority of the houses are set forward, closer to the street, where my house and my immediate neighbor that I share the driveway with, we are set back closer to the rear setback, and it's actually 26 feet 3 inches from the property line to the back of the house. So we're only 1 foot 3 inches from the property line at this point. We've looked at options of adding an addition to the front of the house, which I don't think that makes any sense. Just because of the character of the neighborhood would be lost completely with a front addition.
I want to jump in. We just love the neighborhood. So
Yeah.
like the part of this is, we're here because we want to make sure we're doing the right thing and we're getting the approval, but we love the approval of you all because we love the neighborhood. I grew up in the neighborhood. Well, not our immediate neighborhood. I grew up in Havertown. I work in Havertown. Mike works for Mainline Health. So we are invested in our community and we want to stay here. We have 3 young kids that are getting bigger.
Yes.
And we're running out of space. We're kind of the hub.
That I was going to point out to you. Not to like parse words too much, but for a variance, you have to have a need, right? There's the
Sure.
hardship. And you said you want to do an addition, and I was going to stop you at that
Sorry.
moment, just for your sake.
Yes.
So that you use
So
the
our
word
need is more square foot. We have a growing family. We do have 3 young kids. And we need more storage, we need more square foot space for the house. We want to stay in the neighborhood, as Meg said, and we
And
love
how
our
many- How many
neighborhood.
children?
We have three.
Three? And
Yes.
what are their ages?
8, 7, and 4. Gonna be
And a
5.
big dog.
And a big dog.
And we seem to be kind of the hub of our block. Everyone kind of gathers out front of our house, and we love our neighborhood, we love our neighbors. I picture as a mom being the house that the kids want to hang out at, having space for them to have their friends over. Right now, I don't see that happening as it is. So eventually, I'd love that dream to come true, to be able to make that space happen.
Okay, so what's going to be in the addition?
So the addition is an extension of the basement for storage. It would be the first floor where the kitchen gets extended out with family room. And then the upstairs is a master bedroom and bathroom with second floor laundry.
Sorry, could you say again what was on the ground floor?
So the first floor is kitchen extension and family space.
Okay, and Michael, you mentioned that this would reduce the current encroachment in some way. Would you expand on that just a little bit?
So what we had existing when we purchased the house is 2 garages that were 10 foot by 20 foot. So 2 of them 20 foot by 20 foot.
And those are the projects depicted in A1 and A2, right?
Correct. So they went out 20 feet. So our second floor proposed addition is out 16 foot. The first floor is actually out 14 feet. So there's a 2-foot overhang on the second floor. So in terms of the setback or relative to the property line, we are reducing the non-conforming structure in the actual setback. And also what we're doing is some of the driveway gets eliminated, some of the impervious coverage gets reduced, and we're slightly over the 45% requirement. And with this proposal, we would actually be slightly under the 45% requirement for impervious coverage.
Okay. You might want to mark your impervious calculations as A5 then, right?
Yes, we can do that. I show them on the plot plan, but I can certainly do that as well.
You have it up.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So if you're done presenting, then the board typically asks questions.
Okay, yep, that's,
Yes?
So my biggest question is, where will you be parking your cars now that you're getting rid of the garage?
so we don't use the garages for parking at all. They actually don't fit, they're very narrow, so we've never been able to fit a car back there. We are able to still pull in with this plan with 1 car back there. We also use street parking for our other car.
Okay, so per the zoning code, you are required to provide enough space for 2 cars to park on your lot. And what you have right now shown for a driveway is only sized for 1 car.
Okay.
And if we approved your addition, would you reduce it in size enough to have 2 9-foot by 18-foot parking spots?
I mean, honestly, I've looked at this from square footage wise, and it's very difficult to shrink this any more than what we've already done to do what we're ultimately looking to do and get the space. I mean, we can certainly look at it to see if there's an opportunity. I'm not certain that there's going to be a way to get 2 cars back there with this house being set further back.
You have room for 2 cars now?
Kind of, barely. But yes.
Yeah, have 20 feet by 21 feet right now, which would be,
And honestly, you know, if my house was situated further up where a lot of these other houses were, which is about 18 feet compared to some of my neighbor's house, I wouldn't have any issue with having the 2 cars and doing this addition that we're looking to do.
yeah, I guess my concern is as your kids get older and start driving and start
Sure.
having cars, that there will be, you know, maybe upwards of 4 cars parked on the street associated with your house, since the driveway can only park 1 and it is a shared driveway. So
Yeah.
there's no way to park a car in the driveway itself.
Makes sense.
How many bedrooms do you currently have right now?
3 bedrooms.
And how many bathrooms?
We have 2 full bathrooms.
And so you're adding 1 bedroom.
One
Yeah,
of the bathrooms is in the basement,
Okay.
though.
Right.
So it's there, but
Okay, so you'll be adding 1 additional bedroom upstairs for a total of 4.
Yes, correct.
I don't have any other questions right now.
Ed?
I'm confused. Jessica brought up a very good point, but there's no request for a variance from the parking requirements, so I don't know if we need to re-advertise.
I mean, at this point, I would say just continue with the presentation, we can talk about it.
Okay. The only other question I had, looking at the 2 garages, you're actually increasing the rear yard setback with your proposed addition?
Yes, correct. Yeah,
No other question.
Jesse?
You said the upper floor is going to be a new primary suite, so it'll be an addition of a bedroom and a bathroom, is that right?
yes,
And you said, I think you testified that the ground floor will be a kitchen extension, so are you expanding the kitchen into the proposed addition, and you'd have a new family room as well?
yeah, in the addition, there would be a kitchen, an L-shaped kitchen that extends off of where the existing kitchen is. It's a galley kitchen right now. And then the other side would be an extension of the family room from the main living room that currently exists.
And you also said the basement would be used for storage?
Yes.
So, I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah, I'm sorry.
no, I mean, I guess just, yeah, I mean, I think Jess and I were probably both realizing this parking thing at the same time here. We're looking, I mean, is there a way that you can also incorporate a 1-car garage into this addition so that you'd have a 1-car garage? Maybe you could relook at the basement for a family room and find a way to get 2 cars, because it is a big concern. And it's also, reading the ordinance, it's 9 feet by 18 feet, and it has to be exclusive of driveways and maneuvering areas too. So, I mean, once you actually, it makes it even tougher to fit 2 spaces there. So, it's definitely something we would have to consider, and something that you might want to look at a little harder too.
Okay.
As far as the character of the addition, could you describe, in general terms, if you've gotten this far, what the character and the exterior materials and the roof materials and what, et cetera, would be?
Sure. So we're looking at hardy board siding at this point. We do have a brick facade on the front of the house. Windows would be to match existing windows with the colonial look. The roof would match the roof that we had replaced after we moved in with the 3-dimensional asphalt shingles.
So in general, you feel like it would be in keeping with the character of the neighborhood and would not detract from the
Absolutely.
neighborhood? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and that's our main focus as well. We want to make sure that it fits in with the neighborhood.
Referring to A3, I'm also looking at your neighbor across behind you.
Yes.
They look like they have maybe an addition and
They do not. They actually have a 1-car garage on the back side of their house with a
Okay.
flat roof.
okay, I see that. And Could you approximate how close that is to the fence?
Approximately, I'd say around 20 feet. I think they're set forward onto Arlington a little bit more than
So-
what we are to Walnut Place.
Okay, so if they're around 20 feet and then you're proposing to be around 10 feet, there might be about 30 feet, so.
Right,
And have you spoken to those neighbors?
yes.
And they're generally in favor of?
They're in favor of it. He was hoping to be here tonight, and he has young kids, and his wife had an event tonight, so he had to stay home.
Understood. And did I see in your package, did you have other letters from other neighbors?
Did not have any letters from other neighbors, no. I had a letter that I had generated to support why I'm seeking relief, and sort of spells out all of my, I'll call them hardships.
So you've spoken to all of your immediate neighbors?
Spoke to a lot of my immediate neighbors, correct.
Did you receive support or opposition?
Support. All support.
No other questions?
Bill?
I'm just looking at my questions. I think, so you mentioned that there are similar houses, that your street has, essentially some houses that are positioned forward of yours and your neighbors, right? And and I think I saw something that, 40% of the houses on your street are set back the way yours are. And, obviously, is that all right? That's correct?
Yeah, there's 4 houses on my side of the block, on the even side of the block, that are set back further. I believe that there's at least 1 or 2 of them that do have structures that go well into the setback, into the rear yard setback. I know that there's at least 1 that has a second floor over top of, and I don't know if it's garages that are underneath or if it's living space underneath, but there's definitely 1 that goes well into the 25-foot setback.
And at least some of them are 2-story.
And
Above.
1 of them is definitely 2-story, yes. And then 2 houses to my, if you're looking at my house, two houses to my left is set forward, and they actually have a very comparable addition to their house. I don't know if they have the 2-car parking capability or not, but I know that they did not have to go in for a variance because, again, they're set forth closer to Walnut Place by almost 18 feet.
Got it. Okay. So you do have a shared driveway, and obviously you can't park in your driveway, right? So you'd block it. So you and your neighbor both pull in, but you don't really use your garage currently. So you just pull your cars in on the existing driveway? Is that currently how you get 2 cars in?
Yeah, we pull close to the house where the garage is inset, and then we pull another one really close to the left-hand side of it. And that's just been more recent that we've been doing that.
Okay. And can you give us a characterization of the available parking on your street?
It's pretty plentiful. Yeah, it's pretty plentiful. I mean, we have a lot of cars that do park on the street, but we do also have neighbors that have front driveways that they put in the front of their yard.
We also have a lot of kids on our streets, so there's a lot of bigger vehicles that can't necessarily fit in some of the narrow driveways. So I park on the street. I know a couple of the other bigger vehicles are kind of in the same boat because they have a lot of kids and they need vans and Suburbans to fit their children that don't always fit in these spaces.
Well, many of the streets in the township face parking constraints. And so that's why, the zoning code focuses on it, and that we have to sort of give that serious consideration as to whether this application as proposed produces the best result that could be given the space limitations that you're dealing with and all that. So I don't, so it's a significant issue for me also, as you've heard from others. But I don't think I have any other, well, just one question. Generally, which way does the water on your property run? Like if you have a storm, does it run, do your downspouts and your lawns just drain forward or backward, or where does the water go?
Yeah, so we're slightly elevated relative to Walnut Place, so everything flows down the driveway to Walnut Place. We also have, I believe the previous owner had put a French drain on the easeway side of our house and piped it directly to the street as well. And that picks up the downspout from the garage in the back.
So would the addition then be, you would use gutters and downspouts that would connect into that existing line and run out to the street? That's the
Correct.
plan?
Yes, correct.
All right. I don't have any other questions, Bob. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Jesse?
Yes. See, could you expand on, I think you just mentioned that there are some neighbors that have driveways in the front of their home where they can park?
So on the, directly across from us, there is, I think it's 213 Walnut Place has a two-car driveway in front of their house. And then down at two.
Well, next to them, so I guess
Oh,
they're
yes.
210. They do as
So
well.
211 has it. And then
206 maybe?
206,
Are all
correct.
these shared driveways where they have like a pullover, or is it just a different?
So they're individual.
206, I think, is a shared driveway, but they put in their own.
Yeah, he's a contractor, so I believe that he had a truck and had a requirement to not park trucks.
Right.
So he put a driveway in his front yard.
Is that something, I mean, since you do have more space in your front yard, would that be something that you would consider, is putting the two parking spaces in the front off the driveway?
I mean, I would consider that, absolutely. I'd be concerned with the impervious coverage, of course, but I would certainly consider that.
Okay.
And I guess my question would be, would that just need to be one car, since there's one car capable parking in the back?
Yes. At most. If the will impose that condition. Ed, do you have any other questions?
No other.
Was that it, Jess?
I would just say, I'm not sure there is space for one car in the back because of the way the bulkhead is. You don't actually have a 9 by 18 clear space back there right now.
So I've definitely used CAD and put a Jeep Grand Cherokee designation on it, and it definitely works on plan, at least. I wouldn't know whether or not that would actually work, not off plan, until we did it.
Is there anything else you guys would like to add?
Nope.
Thank you for your
Other
time
than thank you for your time.
and your service.
Yeah, and your service.
Thank you. We're not done yet. All right, we're gonna take a 2-minute recess. Your case is still pending. Yeah, we're gonna let everybody come up and talk. Yeah. Off the record. Okay, good. So here's our, we went through the plan and the parking. So if you guys do put a parking spot out front, which I think sounds like a good idea,
Okay.
then you need to recalculate your impervious surface.
Sure.
And you need to ask us for relief from the impervious surface code section.
Okay.
And I mean, we went round and round with this. There's no real way for us to grant the relief tonight or vote on the case even until we have new impervious surface coverage calculations from you guys.
Okay.
With a parking spot, probably in the front and offshoot from your driveway, I'm assuming is what you would do. And maybe show how the access would be to get a car into the back, so. It would
Okay.
be show that there's 2 spaces and clearance with the addition to get a car into the back. So I'm gonna hear from the members of the public that are here for your case. But we're gonna have to ask you guys if you could, like, take a look at your drawings and submit another plan that shows 2 parking spaces and a recalculation of the impervious surface. Right? Any other?
Yeah, and we also wanted to clarify, we weren't sure if we heard you say anything about the configuration of the 2-story addition. The 16 by 26 foot 8
Yes.
addition that's shown in plan, is that the same dimension on the ground floor and the second floor?
No, first floor is 14 feet out, 26.8 wide. Second floor's got the 2-foot overhang going out.
Okay.
16 foot.
Okay. So, okay, then to hammer that home then, on the first floor,
Yes,
it'll be 14 feet out, and so you'll actually have it'll be 12 foot 3 from the rear
Correct.
property line.
correct.
And at the second floor, it'll be 16 feet out, and it'll be the 10 foot 3, which is shown on Exhibit A4.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And one question that I have, is there an opportunity that we could put pavers down, sort of like a driveway paver down in the back to put a car back there in the 12 foot 3, 10 foot 3 dimension? To not do the entire driveway square footage of what it would be required, but just sort of tire marks with pavers, if you will.
Or gravel.
Or gravel.
I mean, I think anything creative to reduce the impervious coverage would be something we would
Okay,
certainly look at, yeah.
okay.
And I would suggest connecting with the zoning officer to see how that fits in terms of impervious versus pervious coverage.
Okay,
And one of the things that the chairman is doing by open and leaving this open is obviously that we're not closing and putting a vote on this tonight. What I would suggest to make sure that the record is clear for next time is that once you calculate everything that you think you need, send in an addendum for any additional relief so that when it advertises next time, it's got all the relief and buttoned up, and we'll know exactly what we need to take a look at for you.
perfect.
That way you don't have to refile anything, just make sure you add it and we'll advertise for it.
Okay,
I didn't want to bore you to death, but there's a legal requirement that
Sure.
it has to be advertised, all the relief you're asking for.
Yep.
And because impervious, if you put a spot in, then you might be over the impervious.
right,
And that wasn't advertised.
right,
If
correct.
you don't put the spot in, then you need a parking spot, and that wasn't advertised. So,
Understood.
you know, that's why it just, when you send this stuff into the zoning officer, just put in any other relief.
Okay.
And Billy, do you have anything to add?
No, I think if there isn't an alternative plan that the applicants would like us to look at, I think it would be helpful to have some sort of, plot plan that would show this other alternative that you're thinking about, so we can kind of compare them.
Okay,
And
very fair.
so we're gonna do it in 2 weeks, right? Are you guys on like a time frame with this? Do you have
No.
construction lined up?
No, my builders are kind of on hold until I would get an approval at this point.
Okay, because we don't have any cases listed for our meeting that's in 2 weeks.
Okay,
So, if you guys are under a time constraint, we'll schedule a meeting just for you guys.
Okay.
No problem, if it causes you any inconvenience whatsoever. But I want to give you enough time to look at your plan
Sure.
and do your calculations, but we're willing to do that.
I was going to say, I'm going to jump on this right away, certainly.
Technically speaking, if he's going to revise it and make the request for additional relief, you're going to have to meet the requirements of the 2 consecutive weeks for advertisement. It's probably unlikely, even if he jumped on it tomorrow, that we would be able to satisfy that 2-week requirement. So it would probably have to be the second meeting anyway.
All right,
Fair enough.
why don't we have a solicitor?
Which is
You know
March
what?
16th.
March 16th. Got
Is that the hearing date, 3/16?
Got it.
I'm gonna hear from your neighbors that came, and, you guys submit that, they'll send it over to us, and we'll take a look at it.
Okay,
Thank you so much for your
appreciate it.
time.
Yeah, thank you all so much.
So with that, I'll ask, is there anyone present that received certified mail that wishes to testify? Okay, come on up. I need to swear you guys in too. Ladies first. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Your full name and address.
Tina Ciotti Friels, and we're at 216 Walnut Place. Tina, Tina, Ciotti, Ciottti, and my last name is Friels, Freels.
And what's your address again, Tina?
216 Walnut.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
And your full name and address.
Scott Friels, 216 Walnut Place. We're on the non-driveway side. We don't share the driveway with them.
I was going to mess with you and ask you to spell your last name, but let's start wrong. Okay, what would you guys like to tell us?
We have no questions. We're just here for support of the Milligans.
We don't have any concerns with the
So
addition.
you've seen what they want to do,
Yeah.
and you're,
We're all for it.
We're all for it.
Yeah. And it would be like basically right in our backyard, like we'd see their addition there, so, but we're not concerned about,
At all.
so.
any
They need it.
Any questions for Tina or Scott?
Do you have an addition on the back of your house?
No.
We do not.
You
We
have a
single-
garage back
Single
there?
car attached. Yeah.
And these garages you cannot pull your cars into. I don't know what they were thinking
I know
in
there's a two-car
1930.
requirement, you say.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
sorry, Dave.
I just said our garages are really tiny and you just can't get cars into them.
I don't have any other questions.
Do you have anything?
Ed?
No other question?
Yes?
No questions.
Billy?
Just one question, please. As residents on the street, how do you find on-street parking for when you need it?
It's plentiful. Nobody parks in front of our house. Both of our spots are open. I think right across from us, they put one car. Across from Mike and Megan, there's no cars because they have their own driveway. Basically, everybody just keeps one car on the street. There's a couple people who have multiple, but there's plenty of space. The kids ride their bikes and play in it. It's plenty.
And do you have a shared driveway?
We do.
And do all the homes have shared driveways?
Most of them do.
Most of them? Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, guys.
That's it. Thank you.
Ladies first, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And your full name and address, please?
Mary Santulli, 212 Walnut Place, Havertown, PA. Sure, Santulli.
Okay,
Please
and
raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
yes, I do.
Your full name and address for the record?
Glenn Santulli, and I live at 212 Walnut Place in Havertown.
And one at a time. Please tell us.
Okay, yeah, sure. So thank you for this opportunity tonight to come and talk about this addition. So we've been there for like 32 years. We've had 3 kids. Still have one in college. Hopefully he'll be done soon. So I'd say our concerns, and a lot of the stuff around our concerns, I think has already been really brought out already, because we live next door and we have a shared driveway. So there's, it gets more complicated when you start thinking about like an addition or some kind of construction type of effort. But one of the questions I have for the board, and these are just questions I want to get more educated on. I did some research, right? So regarding construction proximity to an easement, because a shared driveway technically is an aperture easement from a real estate law perspective, right? So I just wasn't sure like how close construction can be to an easement or a shared driveway. Like, is there some ordinance in Haverford Township that says it has to be such and such from an easement? I wasn't quite clear on that.
I think that question is more likely posed to the township code officer, not necessarily the zoning hearing board. It is not a zoning issue.
Okay. Okay. When I looked at the information that, by the way, Mike and Megan are nice neighbors, so, we get along quite well. But when I saw his drawings, I was looking for his center line, and it appears that it must be the center of our driveway. So the other thing I was looking at was, do you normally require a survey? And I don't know if one was done in this case, where a professional surveyor comes out and does like a meets and bounds to determine all the lines to make sure everything is accurate. Is that something typically you would expect in a construction project like this?
Again, I think that would be a code issue as it relates to what is before the zoning hearing board. No, I believe a survey requirement application.
Okay. Let's see if there's any other questions I have. I would say the other thing that, pretty much, and it's been covered already, is just the whole space, back there. It is, it is kind of tight, and I think you guys have kind of beaten it up a little bit here with the cars going in and out, so I don't think I need to really bring that back up, but it can get kind of tight with the space. You've already covered the water drainage. There's no reason for me to bring that back up. I'm just trying to go through my little checklist. I think those are really all the concerns I had. Did you have anything else that you want to add? Yeah.
I don't think so. I think you covered it. We had 3 kids. We don't have an addition, for the record.
Yeah, we converted that garage over, actually.
Later on.
And made a room out of it some 8-9 years ago. Okay?
So are you in favor or opposed to the
Well,
application?
I think we still have a lot of questions.
Yeah, and we want to make sure it's done in accordance with township, rules and policies. I guess that's really the thing, because I want to make sure we protect our investment. Okay?
Any questions? Yes?
What is the size of your garage in the rear of your property? Or your garage turned enclosed room?
Could you repeat that question? Did you
What's
ask
the
about the
size of
size?
What is the size of the addition on the rear of your house?
Well, I know the inside living space right now is
No,
around,
the addition.
yeah, the
What was the
garage.
garage?
Correct.
I know the space now is like 9 by 19, but that
Yeah.
includes the drywall and everything else. Yeah, I think that's roughly the space.
I don't remember.
I don't
Okay.
remember the exact, I'd have to measure it.
Would you say, looking at the back of your neighbor's house, that it's similar to what their existing garage is?
Probably.
Okay,
I'm just guessing.
all right, thank you.
Jesse?
Yeah, what is your parking situation currently?
We park 1 car on the street and 1 car in the back.
Do you have the ability to park 2 cars in the back?
No.
And so I guess does your driveway go back as far as the back of the subject property of this case? Sorry, does your driveway go all the way to, I can only point to A4, and we can provide a copy of it for you here to look at, but does your driveway go straight across from your neighbors?
It's straight. It's a straight driveway, and then it comes to like a circle or an oval. So we pulled towards the left, they pulled towards the right. I don't know if that answers your question.
Do you currently feel like there's issues maneuvering your cars and when they have a car back there? When they have their cars parked, do you have adequate space to park where you want to?
It's tight.
It's tight.
It depends how the car's angled, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I'm more concerned about if we had to have a repair truck or something.
Okay. No other questions?
Ed?
No question.
Billy?
No questions, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add?
No,
Right?
I think we're good. All right,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Is there anyone else that received regular mail? Any other residents of Haverford Township? With that, we'll continue this case to our March 16th hearing. All right, so, yeah, you're continued to March 16th, so we'll see you guys back in March. But I would get right on that and send it into the township so they can advertise either impervious or whatever the case may be, or parking relief. and we'll wrap it up at March 16th. We'll do a vote that night for you.
Bob, I would suggest that the applicant also give some thought to one of the comments from the neighbor, which is when the contractors are doing the work, if we were to give the approval as proposed, where would they use for laydown area for construction materials, and where would the construction vehicles be parked during the day? And how many vehicles would be involved on any given day or typically?
Give it some thought. I'm not particularly concerned about that,
Proposal?
Bill. It's a residential addition we're talking about, so,
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll have to deal with the
But al-
confines of
and
a
often-
residential community.
Yeah, but often construction or contractors might park in the driveway or think that they can, and here, obviously, that would be very limited.
Well, I'm sure they'll tell them that they can't park in the shared driveway.
I can speak to a little bit.
I already continued the case, so the record really is like closed on this one.
Yeah, okay.
So, all right. So we'll see you guys back March 16th.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, greatly appreciate it.
All right. So our next case is Z2303, Christopher and Leanna Pito. Pito?
Yep.
Owners of 841 Homestead Avenue, Haverford Town, PA, DC folio number 2206-0118700, who seek a variance from provisions of section 182-711B1 to construct a 20-foot by 19-foot porch roof that will encroach into the required 10-foot separation between the main structure and the accessory structure by 14 feet. Property is on R4 and located in the 6th ward. You guys both gonna talk?
Swear us both in just to be
Ladies first,
safe.
raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
And your full name and address for the record, please?
Leanna Pito, 841 Homestead Avenue.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Full name and address for the record?
Christopher Evan Pito, 841 Homestead Avenue, Haverford Town, Pennsylvania.
Okay, and you heard what
Yes.
how I helped mark their exhibit, so you guys have,
Plot plan would be first exhibit. Apologies, we were not aware.
whatever you want to have marked, and whatever you want to have marked. We'll go off the record?
And we're good to go.
All right. So, you have some exhibits that you
Yeah,
have pre-marked?
yeah, they're up there. Apologies, that was our copy, so we have a plot plan up here, but we may need to reference some of those. So the
Okay.
plot plan is exhibit 1.
I just want to identify them for the record,
Yep.
so. A1 is the plot plan? A2 is a photo of,
That is the 3D imaging of the permanent structure that we are proposing that is in violation of the ordinance. Just several different angles, so you get all the perspectives.
A3,
Just another,
just a brief
another,
description of that.
another angle from the driveway.
Can I be clear on which one's A2 and can you show me which one was A2? Okay, so that's it. All right, and which one's A3?
A4,
Angle from the back.
A5,
It's a Zillow picture of how it currently looks and what it looked like when we purchased the house.
A6,
The number of letters from our neighborhood community.
Just stating that we discussed it with them, including the porch roof, and they have no concerns. And they signed and put their address on there as well.
Okay, so there are actually
5.
5. So 5 letters from neighbors who all support the application.
5 who we were able to speak with in person and get signatures. For those who were not available, the 2 times I walked the community, we left letters in their mailboxes explaining what we were proposing to do, and also leaving our contact information, both our phone numbers and emails, if they had any questions.
Okay.
We did have a few of them call us, and we talked through it. There were no concerns.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I actually have one more that didn't make it in your packets. Can I submit it in the exhibit? Okay.
We'll make it part of A6. So A6 will be 6 letters.
And just for the record, to the best of our knowledge, none of the neighbors in the community expressed any concerns or objections, even though we weren't able to get physical signatures from all of them.
And A7?
So I've included this just in case there are questions. This is from speaking with the zoning officer. Our understanding, the highlighted area being where we are in violation, which may be useful in discussing alternatives if the proposed plan is not approved as is.
So more broadly, it's a plot plan?
It's a plot plan showing the 10-foot encroachment of both permanent structures, the back of our house and the garage.
Okay. Now that we got the formalities out of the way, please tell us a little bit about what you would like to do and why.
Absolutely. So when we purchased the house just shy of 2 years ago, you'll notice from the Zillow photo, it came with this off the back of our kitchen, these 2 beautiful sets of French doors with natural egress out the back. We have 2 young children. We are very close with our neighborhood. There's a lot of other young families with young kids. We tend to be the house that hosts both for the neighborhood and my wife's very large family that lives nearby. So naturally, as this is going to be our forever home, we wanted to build a nice patio area outside, which allowed everyone ample space to enjoy, but also provided shade for the young children and also our elderly family members. So that was the main reason for kind of starting the project. And then when discussing when the permit was denied, discussing the options for alternatives, we felt those alternatives would actually more negatively impact the neighborhood and community, both from a visual standpoint and from an auditory standpoint. So what we've proposed is immediately off the back of the house. It would blend in very nicely, would not be visible from the street, and would also allow the maximum space between where that permanent structure is and the boundary lines from our neighborhood behind us. I'll also mention the neighbor directly behind us, there's actually a large bank of tall pine trees, so there's some nice privacy right there. So they really wouldn't see the proposed permanent structure visually straight on.
Okay, so the reason you're here though is because this 10-foot separation that's required from the rear of your property to accessory structure, right? So that's your garage, it looks like?
The detached structure off the back.
A5.
Just to the left is the
Yes.
garage, yes. Now, just to be very clear, there's a patio paver that goes across the full back, but between the garage and the house, we have actually adjusted the plan, so there is no permanent structure elevated, meaning it's just a flat flagstone. The permanent structure that's in violation is the A-frame porch that comes off the back, which is furthest from the garage off the back of the house.
What's the distance from the nearest point on the A-frame structure to the garage?
17 and a half feet.
Okay. And you understand what that provision's in the code, right?
Well, I've heard some explanation, but it's not written in
Safe
the
access for fire and rescue vehicles.
Exactly. So that was our understanding. So there was a small aesthetic retaining wall that was actually originally closer to the garage. We had that moved and adjusted so that if that was the concern of the township, there would be nothing permanent on that side. A large vehicle could still get access for emergency purposes.
And with regard to that 10 feet, the code draws a parallel line all across the back of the house, or the rearmost portion of the house, and the accessory structure. So it doesn't take into consideration, what the real distance is.
Understood.
That's why I asked you what that measurement was. All right, Billy, any questions?
Yeah, sure, thanks. I guess you've answered the first question, that the gap that a vehicle could get between the garage and the nearest corner of the covered patio proposed is 17.5 feet. Do you happen to know the existing gap distance between the rear corner of the house and the front corner of the garage where they're closest?
So you'll see in the plot plan, we've measured that horizontally as it extends, and that's 15 feet. We did not capture the diagonal candidly, because our understanding was the diagonal didn't matter. It was just kind of the perpendicular angle there. So that's
Right.
That's 15.
So the diagonal, as you refer to, which was exactly what I was wondering about. So that's more, though, we know, than 15 feet. I mean, I know it says 15 feet plus or minus. I assume that's within a margin of a foot error.
Correct. I'm not a math expert, but my understanding is the diagonal would actually be a little bit longer than the 15 feet. That is.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so in the, I think A1 is your plot plan. It shows the proposed porch as 305 square feet. That's the proposed covered patio?
307. Uncovered.
Well, the reason I was going to ask is because the area shaded in like rust or brick red on my copy shows that it's roughly, with the roof, it's roughly covering an area of 20 by 19 feet, which should be 380 square feet. I think.
I believe the reason, and again, this was drawn up by our builders, but there is a 2-foot overhang off the current house, so the roof would actually go above that. So I don't know if that might be why it's less, but I apologize. I don't know the exact answer.
And I realize that you're under your total impervious, which is 45%, as depicted in this chart. You're at 29. So I realized that the extra square footage, if it really was 380 square feet, it probably doesn't put you over. I just wanted to know if I was reading it wrong or if the information in the chart may have been wrong. So you think that the difference is existing roof overhang that would continue, or that to which you're going to tie the new roof of the covered patio onto?
That's my understanding, correct.
Okay. And then the covered patio, does that have a fireplace built into it?
It does not.
No. Okay. I saw from one of your other pictures, I guess, an existing fire pit, and I didn't know if, will you be getting rid of that then?
It's already gone.
It's already gone. Okay. And then it looks like you're expecting, I would think, electricity under the covered porch for what appears to be maybe a ceiling fan and TV or something like that?
That is correct.
Okay. Is electricity the only utility outside that you would be expecting? Are you running water into that, or are you doing anything else?
Just electricity. There is plans for a built-in refrigerator, and then, yes, as you mentioned, a ceiling fan, some basic recessed lighting, and there's a wall to mount a TV.
Okay. I don't have any other questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ed?
Yeah, looking at the drawing, I'm wondering from the artist rendering and the photograph, there is that wall. That wall is not going to be there now because it's not showing up on your plot plan A1.
The wall under the patio?
No, the wall next to the driveway, I think he has some Bilco doors there.
The black wall, the black.
It's just a privacy fence.
It's on top of a wall. I don't see that on your plot plan.
Sorry, do you mind if I just?
Sure.
reference your picture?
We're taking a look at, on your exhibit where you're showing the artist rendering, and there's this wall here,
Okay.
and that's not, I don't know where that is on here. On the exhibit A1, we're showing your house, and that's showing that as being grass. I don't know exactly what's going on here.
So apologies, it looks like the builder missed that in.
So you're going to have a wall that would go along a short wall. It's only like a foot or 2 feet high. And with a fence on top of it that would go between the grass and the blue part of the patio on A1.
That was intended to be purely aesthetic for privacy. If that is of concern or in violation, we are very flexible on removing that.
Okay. The other thing, if this were to be accepted, would you accept the condition that the patio next to the driveway, which is shown in blue on A1, and between that and the garage, will not be enclosed or have any affixed in-ground structures placed to limit access in the future?
Yes.
So putting aside the question you just raised on that wall closest to the side of the house, there is nothing in the plans that is above level ground. It is just a flagstone patio. Everything you're seeing in the plan is just movable furniture.
Can you accept that as a condition in moving forward?
Absolutely.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Jessica?
Actually had a question about your existing patio on the side of your house. It's shown in the plan, but isn't shown in the rendering. Are you intending to take that patio down, or will that remain?
We have no plans, immediate plans to remove it. We very rarely use it because it's extremely small. It's also elevated off the ground, so with young children right now, it's not very safe. It's not enclosed in any way, so they could easily fall. And it's also a little less private from our neighbors.
How obstructed is your side yard right now near that patio? Would you say that a vehicle could drive back there over the grass in an emergency? So you don't have any large trees obstructing?
No, we actually, when we purchased the house, we had a lot of large trees removed because they were very old and we were concerned about them falling in the, so we've been very conscious with the neighborhood about, being respectful and having a safe space.
Okay, I don't have any other questions.
Jesse?
I think most of my questions have been answered, but I'll just ask just one more time to be very clear for the record. On A2, so you testified all of the items depicted in A2 are all movable, non-permanent fixtures?
I guess just to be crystal clear, there is a flagstone patio that is not currently there that we would be projecting. That is level with the ground. Everything else is movable. There is nothing permanent being put in there.
And the grills or smokers that are shown don't have a permanent utility or a gas connection?
So first of all, they're on wheels. They don't have to be there. The Traeger, which is a smoker, plugs into an electrical outlet, but we're not installing an electrical outlet there. We'd have to run a cable from the garage, which has a basic AC plug-in.
Okay, so again, there wouldn't be any gas line. It would just be a plug. Okay.
There would be a movable plug when we are using the Traeger.
And the flagstone will be flush to the driveway?
Yes, it will.
Okay, no other questions.
Anything else you guys would like to add?
Thank you
Yeah.
for seeing us.
Thank you very much for your time.
It's our pleasure, actually. Billy, any other questions?
No, thank you.
Ed?
No.
Jessica? Jesse? All right, with that, I'll ask if there's anyone present that received certified mail that wishes to testify, anyone that received regular mail, any other residents of Haverford Township? With that, is there anything else you guys would like to add before I close the record?
No, thank
Close
you.
the record on this case, and the decision will be rendered this evening, actually. So with that, we'll go off again, Jeff.
It's on.
with respect to case Z 2303, Christopher and Anna Pito, 841 Homestead Avenue. I won't read the rest of the description into the record unless someone specifically requested I do so. Ed, are you prepared to vote?
Yes, I am.
Jessica, are you prepared to vote?
I am.
Jesse, are you prepared?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes, I am.
And so am I. Ed, would you please take this decision?
Yes, I vote to approve the requested variance with the following conditions. One, the patio pavers will be flush with the driveway. Two, no structures, enclosures, or in-ground additions to the open patio next to the drive. And to be completed in 1 year from a final approval and to be constructed in accordance with the notes of testimony.
It just means the exhibits and testimony that you gave tonight. Bill?
I agree.
Jessica?
I agree.
Jesse?
I agree.
And so do I. The application's approved by Jim.
Thank you very much.
Looks great.
Can I,
Thank you so
can I
much.
just ask one clarification? You would raise that that side privacy was missing from the plot plan. We'll make sure when we submit it's in there, but it's approved with that still in there? Okay, thank you very much.
Good luck. Good luck with everything.
You are all very, you are all
Absolutely.
very, very welcome.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Good luck. Oh,
Yeah, minutes, right?
yeah. I need to do that.
Yeah, it's
Thank you, Marge.
Yes, thank you so much for all your help. We'll resubmit the plan or?
All right. Any other administrative matters? Jessica?
I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes distributed from our January 19th hearing.
Second.
Well, we need to do a voice vote on this one because I wasn't there. So, Bill, how do you vote?
I vote to approve the minutes as presented.
Ed?
I vote to approve.
Jessica?
I vote to approve.
Jesse?
Approve the notes.
And I will abstain because I was not present at the hearing. Any other administrative matters? Discussion? We are adjourned.